Hello, BHS. Today is the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, also known by many as Orange Shirt Day. You've heard some very hard truths this week. If you would like to know more about the residential schooling system or the many other issues concerning Indigenous peoples on Turtle Island, you can reach out to Miss Montgomery, Miss Ransberry, or visit Elena in the Wabanong Student Center in Portable 2, or seek information from Indigenous sources.
Students and staff are advised that this announcement contains references to the trauma that occurred at residential schools across Canada. We know this information may be very difficult for some people. If you find yourself upset and in need of support, please reach out to Guidance, the Wabanong Student Center, Julie or Sherry Lee, or a trusted adult. In the moment, you can also try taking some long, deep breaths to quiet your mind, body, and heart.
Today, please remember that no good came out of these schools that could not have come from providing education in a kind, respectful, and culturally sensitive way. The process of truth-seeking and reconciliation between all Canadians and FNMI communities is just beginning. As you learned earlier this week, survivors did speak out about their suffering. The rest of Canada simply did not listen. Many students did take part in active resistance against their imprisonment in these schools, but those in charge punished their resistance, rather than considering why they were willing to risk such punishments in order to protest their treatment. Indigenous parents did try to hide their children or wrote letters to the government out of concern for their kids. Their concerns were not addressed. Many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit leaders have spoken passionately and acted meaningfully to bring their stories to the public. Now it is time for us all to listen. Now it is time for us all to act.
We must learn about residential schools and the ongoing consequences of the government and church's actions. We must also seek to understand more about our treaties, First Nations land defenders, and the many ways in which Indigenous people are healing, thriving, and making meaningful contributions to society.
We are proud to see so many of you wearing orange shirts and expressing your support. Please take an opportunity to reflect on your learning by visiting the rock at the front of the school, which was painted by Miss Montgomery's grade 12 art class last year. Every child matters.
We have a lot of work to do, and we know many of you are looking for actions that you can take. After many years of investigation, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission created 94 calls to action. You may read these online. A few other ideas you may try: learn about your treaty, the Williams Treaty.
Read an autobiography written by an Indigenous person.
Read First Nations, Métis, and Inuit literature.
Use your money intentionally to support FNMI artists and refuse to give money to organizations such as sports teams that continue to belittle and dehumanize Indigenous people.
Listen more, talk less.
Write to local politicians and demand that they implement the 94 calls to action.
When news reports about land or resources disputes arise, research the treaty obligations before developing an opinion.
Learn about the report on missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls.
If you're on TikTok, follow the hashtag #NativeTikTok. It is a wealth of knowledge about culture, communities, and a great many other things.
Remember that when we express ourselves online, we are telling stories. Be mindful of the powers your stories have. Listen and learn before you speak about Indigenous issues.
Think critically and act kindly.
After the work of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was completed, the chair of the commission, Anishinaabe Chief Justice Murray Sinclair, said, "We have described for you a mountain. We have shown you the way to the top. We call upon you to do the climbing." At Bowmanville High School, learning matters, belonging matters, relationship matters, and of course, every child matters, now and always.
Miigwech for listening.
There will now be a short video by the leadership team.
It was the educational system that has contributed to this problem in this country. And it's the educational system, we believe, that's going to help us to get away from this.
Orange Shirt Day originally began in May 2013. During the years of the residential schools, a young girl, Phyllis Webstead, was about to begin her journey in the mission schools, with her new orange shirt purchased by her grandmother.
When she arrived, expecting a much different first day, she was stripped of everything, including her new orange shirt. She was devastated and scared.
Of course, every child does matter. It fits in the past, in the present, as well as the future.
The truth of residential schools can be very scary and awful. As of May 2022, the register has 4,130 confirmed names of children who didn't make it home and were never able to share their story. Phyllis, along with all the other victims, are the reason we have National Truth and Reconciliation Day today, September 30th.
Last year, our grade 10 art class painted this in celebration of Turtle Island.
Orange Shirt Day is important for a number of reasons. To start, it opens the door for discussions about residential schools and their legacy and impact on our nation. Secondly, it gives us an opportunity to show our remembrance and respect for those impacted by residential schools and to demonstrate our commitment to Every Child Matters.
We participate in Orange Shirt Day to recognize and learn how we can reconcile.
I believe that the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation is important. We're remembering the children that were lost and honoring the survivors and their families. The government systematically separated Indigenous people from the rest of Canada. As Canadians, we were lost in this story because we were separated from this story. And that's what the government was hoping for. So we're going to learn, we're going to be better, and we're going to do better in our communities.
Orange Shirt Day is a great day to recognize what Indigenous people went through and learn about their stories.
Orange Shirt Day is really important for us to show our support. We all have a responsibility for acting in the name of reconciliation.
Last year, BHS remembered the children by painting a memorial rock which can be found at the front of the school. BHS is focusing on acts of reconciliation. The leadership class has been in full participation as well. As leaders, we see the importance of reconciliation.
We also have our very own Wabanong Student Center located in Port Nicholson. This is a safe space that allows students to be who they are and connect with others from their culture.
For more information, visit historicacanada.ca or you can speak with Ms. Montgomery or Elena in the Wabanong Student Center.